I can't even touch the screen with you doing that. You having fun? No, okay.
Beep, 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 beep. That's Peach in the outro. Beep, 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 beep.
What are you saying? What are you doing? Hmm? Yeah, it's their Chloe Sanctuary live stream. Yeah, it is. Cockatoos with attitude, some with more than others, right? Bob, are you going to go after my pocket again? You know, I really don't want you to do that. Here. Diesel, give me a break.
Gone? Ah, there's the picture.
Looked
Well,
like we were
yeah.
in John's pocket for a second.
Now, I was trying to make it so he wouldn't be able to destroy the zipper in this pair of shorts. He goes right for them and breaks them. So
Oh,
Bob.
no.
he's got a piece of wood, but you can't trust him. I mean, you can trust him to a certain point, but when he wants something, he's going to go for it. He'll get right over to where the zipper is and try to destroy it. Ouch. What did you stick in my... That's nice. That was sticking in my back. Diesel bird. Diesel and his rattlesnake. Right, Diesel? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beat on me? Is that what it's all about? Yeah, I think the preview is over, I hope. The premiere. So here we are. We've got almost everybody in here today. It took a little time, but we got there. Although you're going to get a shaky screen because somebody's beating on my hand. Diesel. What did you say, KK? Ouch. That was my jaw, you big toad. Diesel, try not to hit me in the face, okay? It's all right to shake it by my face. It's whacking me isn't the best. Hey, okay, that was my glasses. You're down. But down here. You're nut. You nut. You nut. Hey. Hi. He's all wound up today. What's that? Diesel. Big nut. Now, see, this is the situation where you need to know what you're doing too. That video about biting. If you tried to take the toy from him right now, you'd probably get bitten. And he wouldn't want to do it, but he would be trying to keep his toy.
Yeah, we have Lisa Banerjee in chat, Falcon Zoo, and Jocelyn Tregle. Falcon Zoo says, great video, Dawn.
Oh, thank you.
And Lisa can only stay for the next 20 minutes because she has to pick up her cat by the vet. And then there is Jocelyn, and she's asking why you are not outside today.
Well, because it would be like a cat on a hot tin roof. Right now outside, it's 90 degrees outside and about 15% humidity. So too hot for the birds.
Yeah, doing an a noon live stream in the desert is like, yeah, thing for the winter.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And by the time they've had their breakfast, even getting up at 5, by the time they've had their breakfast, it's already 75 degrees outside. So when I get up at 5, it's 70 outside Fahrenheit. So we're talking around 20 degrees when you get up in the morning, centigrade.
Mm.
And it just goes up from there rather quickly. But that's the desert.
Oh, someone is approaching. One of the Moluccans, is that KK? Yeah.
Oh no, it's Mando going on. Is he? Yeah, he's escaping.
Is he? Oh, yeah, he is.
Heading for the panic room.
Yeah.
You are a big chicken. And
it seems like the
chicken.
Moluccans consider that cage as panic room. Yesterday, or when was it? When Jasmine hid there inside for KK.
And he's
You guys are silly.
He looks at him, but he hasn't gone after a Mollucan in a week or two. I mean, he just doesn't seem to have the interest that he did before. What are you doing, Bob? What are you doing down there, silly boy?
Snowball's just happy he can watch them.
Would you stop?
It's the Bob. Peek-a
hand I'm holding turn the camera around the other way. Use the other hand. He just keeps beating on it. I can't keep it still. Find another piece of wood, Bob. I just got a whole bunch of wood in 2 weeks ago, and I've got to order more. I've got some buzzsaws here, especially Cecil and KK. Although Snowball's coming up a pretty close third. You put a toy in his cage, and the next day you got to put another toy in the cage. It works out that way. Bob? Yeah, with the biting thing, I mean, there's just certain signals you look for, right? If a bird's being territorial, you don't quickly put your hand up to their beak. And then, of course, that means you have to learn what all these different behaviors are. That's my hand again. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have put it back in that hand. Bob. Grabbing me nuts down there, Bob. Uh-huh. I know. That's right where darn it. Come on. You're back in there. You big toad. You press the button. Yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors. He's trying to get to my pocket so he can get my AirPods out. That's the whole deal. But it's a game we play. So, hey, Bob. Bob, what are you doing? You didn't bring any more wood up. You dropped it? Okay. You can take the elevator if you want. You got to fit the wood down, position himself so he can climb up. I don't know what you're doing, Bob. And everybody else is looking pretty calm around here. Hey, Bob. Except for
How is
Cecil,
Mando in his panic room?
He looks pretty calm, but he keeps looking up at KK, and KK's half asleep.
Just because KK's lost interest in Mando doesn't mean Mando's suddenly gained confidence.
Nope.
You know, if you keep it up, you're going to come back in your next life as a chicken. I'm talking to you, Mander. I know, you know I'm talking to you. He looks at me, then he looks up at KK, then he looks back at me.
It's okay, Amanda. Don will protect you.
Yeah, I don't even have to now because KK's lost interest in them. He's just, normally he just goes over and plays, or he sits on my lap, or he's just happy to be here. Right, Luce? You can shake your head again? I see that big girl looking over here. I see you.
Such a beautiful shuk.
Mm-hmm.
So majestic.
She is a beautiful girl, aren't you, girl? This one over here is the one I have to put the wood in front of her beak or some toy to get her out of her cage. And some person had made a comment about, well, if they don't want to come out, you shouldn't take them out. She wants to come out. She just doesn't like the process of getting out of the cage. Once she's out, she comes up and hugs me, and she's happy to do that. And then she'll sit up here for a while, and then she'll start going. She'll start talking. Pretty bird, which means I want to come over. It always means I want something. So yeah, sometimes she knows she likes coming in here and she enjoys playing around. She doesn't just sit up there. She'll also interact with Cecil and with Bob. But
it's not like you're pressing the birds to come out of the cage, but on the other side, being not able to get a bird out of the cage is also not a good thing, because there is so much which needs to be done. For example, when you do the cleanup in the cage or so, and the bird needs to be out. So there are situations in everyday life which makes it kind of necessary to be able
and also
to.
in an emergency as well, you need to be able to grab them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. One needs to be able to handle the bird, and even if the bird really doesn't like to get out of the cage, we have seen that with KK, so they kind of just refuse to step up or something like that. Just seeing the biting a signal that they don't want to come out is not really the message of the biting, since birds don't use biting only as the kind of last choice if nothing else helps. So it's not the usual way for them to communicate with you.
No. With him, there's days when he doesn't want to come out at certain times. I come back when I'm switching groups and he want to come out. So he realizes that when he comes out here, he's got a lot of freedom. He can do what he wants. Although today he was trying to eat the tripod. I tried to set up a second tripod in here. No way. He wouldn't let me do it. That's my tripod. I'm going to eat it. So I had to put it outside, which amounted to opening the door and throwing it out. Yes, he was not. He just came right over. He was over playing, and as soon as he saw me bring that in, that's my tripod. The one I have over now is a broken one, and he can't knock it over the way I have it set up. So I think he enjoyed knocking them over. I'm not sure, but
when you threw it out the door, he must have been like, "Hey, don't treat my tripod that way."
I can guarantee you, most people who are dealing with him for the first time are going to be bitten because they don't know these tools, you know. They seem simple when you talk about like what I did with Lucy. It's called differential reinforcement of an incompatible behavior, but big long term for it. But that's really what it is. You have to put something else in the way, and isn't just with the beak. I mean, if you want to stop them from a certain behavior, this is one way that you can do it, by putting in another object in the way. So, but if you don't understand the rationale behind it, then you'll make mistakes in the process. For example, if you tried it and you weren't quick enough and she goes to actually get your hand. This one won't really hurt you if she bites you, but you can't let her get away with it, because at that point she's going to start going for you again every time you do it. So what you do is no matter what happens in the interaction, you keep the toy up. So with some bigger birds, that might be hard to do that with a scarlet macaw, but you can. And if not, go learn something that gives you more dexterity in your hands. Maybe take a class in sign language or something like that. But because the second they see they can get around what you're trying to do, then they're going to come up with some solution to it. They did a study on these chickens, and what they did is they had a lever, the old B.F. Skinner lever. You press the lever and, food comes out. Normally they would do it under the regular intervals, right? Hi, Pippa. Hey, baby. So like every 15 minutes, you'd have to wait 15 minutes. Then you press the lever. Well, you know what the animals learn? They learn the time interval. They won't even go over and press the lever until the time has elapsed. But what they did in this case is they just had no relationship to what was happening at all. So sometimes they'd press the lever and food would come out. Sometimes it wouldn't. And it was completely random. So they had chickens going around in circles, making all kinds of funny, bobbing their heads certain ways to try to get the food out of it, because they were trying anything and everything to make it happen. And whenever it happened, that would reinforce the behavior. So if the chicken was bobbing its head up and down and then hit the lever and the food came out, after that, the chicken would bob its head up and down and hit the lever. Right? So when you're working with birds and you let them, and you're doing something like putting an object in front of them, as one tiny example of a huge set of skills. But if you let them get around that behavior and they see that they can avoid it, then you're going to create the behavior of avoidance. So again, that's why somebody just saying, "Oh, I can do that with my bird. I don't need to learn anything." Yeah. Wait till that one moment where the bird just kind of looks like it's about ready to come over, and then just hauls around that piece of wood and takes a bite out of you, and you pull back. Now, guess what? Good luck. You're going to be fighting every time. So that's where knowing the techniques and knowing why you use them and the way that behavior works is so important. That's why I don't generally get bit. I say generally because I still have Romeo here, who's just afraid to come out of the cage. But so whenever I do his nails, I generally get a bite one way or another, and not because he doesn't like me. He always asks me to pet him in his cage. He doesn't let me take him out. So
Bless you.
That was a cute sneeze. Let's see.
yeah, the humidity in this room is lower than the living room where they have the humidifier, so she'll do more sneezing. Today she was sneezing a little more. She got some Benadryl, and I flushed out her Nares too. But
So Lisa says Sugar is adorable, and Erin McBraw is here. So welcome, Erin. Good to see you.
hi.
I think I also didn't mention GTH is in chat, so he's also
Hi,
here.
GTH. Hi, guys. Come on, cutie. Why don't you come over here and get your big pet?
Oh, Shuggy, someone has said you are adorable. What do you think about that?
Shiggy fans.
Yeah, here it seems like the sun gets up a little earlier around the mountain, so I'm going to have to start getting up at probably 4:30, because if light gets to her, even though I have blackout curtains and stuff, if light gets to her, she'll pluck a few feathers. And yesterday she got some semi-plumes. Today she got some coverts, and I increased her dose a little bit. But I think
She
I
won't
just
have to
get
go
up
on
earlier.
to. She won't have to go on to 3 times a day, will she?
No, I don't think so. No, I just have
That's
to.
good.
I just have to get up earlier. Either that, or I have to get
If she's really like one of these elderly people who get up super early. Like, oh, there's the first sunlight. Let's get up. Shuggy.
Yeah, I'm not like that myself. I have to set the alarm a half hour, like multiple alarms in a half hour before I want to get up. So it wakes me up several times before I can get up. And I stumble around for a while. Pippa.
So Lisa would like to know if parrots can sweat.
That's a question I've never had asked, and darned if I know. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I know they have no natural cooling mechanism. If they get hot, they'll open their wings. I'll have to look that up for you. I honestly don't know. I doubt it, honestly.
I mean, very few animals can, really.
Mm-hmm. Even dogs can't, right? They kind of, that's why they hang their tongue out all the time.
Yeah, the only animals that I can think of off the top of my head that do are horses. It's like humans and horses, basically. I mean, there probably are others, but I couldn't say what they are.
Yeah, and the cockatoos have and most parrots have no cooling system at all. You'll see them open their beak and move their tongue if it gets too hot. That just means they're too hot. It's not helping them cool down at all. You can spray them down a little bit. That helps a little, but if there's a wind, because of the wind chill factor, but you have to keep them. Like with here, I have two generators, and I have an extra wind air conditioner in case something happens to the AC. I can pop the air conditioner into a window, and then hook it up to a generator if the power's up. You have to, because they can't take heat above 85. Some of them can take a little hotter, but not Cecil, not this guy. He can't take it hotter. He's the indicator. He's the canary in the coal mine. When he opens his wings and his tongue starts going back and forth, that means we're in territory we don't want to be in, and he goes right in, and all the other birds come after him. So he just isn't tough when it comes to temperature, are you, big boy? Although he does great in the lower humidity, it doesn't seem to bother him, but it sure bothers the Pip. He has a problem with low humidity. She's been stuck with it, not just here, where we were before in our temporary location. He wasn't handling it well there either. Neither was Lucy, because it's another desert area. But unlike the intelligence of the people who live here, people have lawns there. That's the dumbest thing. You live in the desert. What do you want a lawn for? I'm thinking about buying some sage and putting some sage around the house, and you put that in the sunny spots, and with desert soil, this particular desert soil isn't that great, but you can grow weeds, you can grow sage. Sprouting sage isn't so easy, but if you want to sprout it and all that's going to take a while, your best bet is just to buy sage, just small plants of sage, and plant them around about 12 to 18 inches apart. But I like sage, so I figure I'll get 3 or 4 varieties of sage. Nobody plants anything around here that I see except in planters, but there are some types of plants that are growing outside, so. Although they're not the plants you want to water. They don't. The roots do not do well in moisture. So you want to give them just slip the desert, give them whatever moisture they can get at night. Bob, that is Cecil playing with a toy, as usual, and that is Bob being. I've got to get involved in this.
You don't need to get involved, Bob.
Thank you, Cecil. That's just what I wanted. You just slamming
Love it.
Bob's evil laughter.
You know that. Now I will show you what the biting response looks like. Right here, you can already see him wiring up. If I went a little further and tried to take that from him, he could bite me. And then, of course, he would stop and he would look like he'd done something wrong because he wouldn't feel good about it. But you can't take the toy out of his beak. Whatever's in their beak, they own, so you don't want to mess with it. Yeah. Hey, kid, what are you doing? Are you scratching? He's got his foot up like it looks like he might have been scratching there. Yeah. Yeah, another thing about the biting is you have to learn their body language. You have to know what a bite looks like. Hey, Bob, come over here for a second. Bob. He's looking for a piece of wood. You want to come up, Bob? Yeah, there's one thing I do with Bob. I do it with some of the other birds too, but I do it with him pretty regularly. Where he's down, if he doesn't have anything in his beak, I put my finger down there. He wraps his beak around my finger and I lift him up.
Oh yeah,
there's
that's
no
super
pressure.
cute.
Oh, there's no pressure on my finger at all. And he knows exactly how much, how to hold his beak so I can lift him up.
That's adorable when you do that.
Yeah. He's a fun dude. He's a little crazy, but aren't we all? He's just the Energizer Bunny of birds. Snowball's getting back into his routine of not wanting to come out. He's fine when he gets out, but he's starting to clamp his feet to the cage when I start to take him out. That's actually standard operating procedure for him. He's been like that since I first got him. He just holds on. And then you get repeats of those kind of behaviors. So I'm just dealing with it the way I used to. I just pet him until he releases his feet and then tickle him a little bit and pick him up. That's how I broke him of that habit before. So you just have to go through the sequence again. Usually I just keep sneezing the whole time. You weren't sneezing outside. Yeah, the dust is worse in here too because they're all running, or well, not running around, but they're all sitting in the room. And some of them, like Cecil and Bob, have been stirring up the dust. Cecil. 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 Are you having fun? Oh, you're going to start breaking it already? You just got this one. What are you going to do? Break it?
Don't break it, Cecil.
He's trying to break the inner ball right now. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, but he's so cute when he does. That's Cecil. They look extraordinarily cute. GTH wrote something in the Russian alphabet, so I have no idea what it says. And then there is a question, have you thought about a shade for your AC unit?
I haven't thought about it, no.
Is that a thing that people have?
Around here, I haven't seen any, but it's not a bad idea. I don't think any kind of material. Well, we have wind too, so you probably have to put something into the ground with concrete. We get winds up here in the 90-mile-an-hour winds occasionally. And So if you've got some kind of like an easy up or something over your air conditioner, it's going to be in someone else's yard. And unless you have, and even then the material might get ripped. It's probably best to build some kind of deck over it. Excuse me? That's a good idea, though. I'll have to look into it. I haven't seen any around here. I've looked at the air conditioners. Everybody's got the ones that sound like a aircraft taking off. Oh, it's just because desert heat is desert heat, isn't it, Cecil? This is, I don't know. I don't see the desert heat. You turn the air conditioner on. What are you doing? Oh, you're trying to tear that up again. Big code. Lethal, you're just a big monster. No.
I think Rico and Cecil should have a play date. I think they get along.
Hey, get out of there, you monster. I knew you were going to do that. Leave it alone. Quit trying to get to my AirPods. Stop it.
I think Babalu would certainly love to have play dates with other cockatoos. Kind of Don having him in his aviator harness, and then someone else shows up with its cockatoo, and then things can go funny. I don't know how Bob reacts when he meets another cockatoo outside the house. So it's not kind of considered as his territory.
He does okay. He does fine outside of territory in general. He just doesn't like to let anybody near into his territory. And sometimes some of the older ones too. Bob, where are you going? Going for another piece of wood.
Being sneaky, looking for adventures.
That's part of his chicken nature right now.
And
KK looked at him.
Yeah, KK is back there building his nest.
KK looked at him, and that was all it took for Bob to say, "Oh, I guess I didn't really mean to be here. I'll grab this." Yeah, there's that horrible biting bird I was told about.
What, Jasmine?
Yeah, Jasmine was one that was told that too.
She bites
So Lisa
all the time.
Says, her parrot Rico will fly on her and try to bite if she sneezes.
Well, 500-mile-an-hour winds can affect some birds, I suppose. Hey, look at me. I tried to protect you from that, Bob. They look at me funny when I sneeze too, but the average speed is about 500 miles an hour when you sneeze. So at least that's what I heard. I never verified.
Yeah,
it.
but can she get him more? Kind of sensibilize him towards her sneezing, so he won't come and bite her when she does.
Sure, I can guess at a method for that. Keep, if the bird likes something like sunflower seeds or cashews or whatever, keep a little stash of them there. And if you feel a sneeze coming on, get them into your hand as fast as you can. And when the bird comes over, have that right there in your hand out. So they have an alternative. That's just a guess. Every bird's a little different. One of the things about ABA is you learn to do, we call it a functional analysis, okay? But basically you're just looking to see what function the behavior has in the bird's world, whatever consequence it's going for. And then you find an alternative that fits the bill. That's usually how you deal with that kind of behavior. So we're dealing with what we call misbehavior, which is just behavior we don't like.
Would intermittent non-contingent reinforcement also work? So when you give him treats every so often when he's behaving well, and then if you sneeze and he flies into your face, then he doesn't get his treat.
No, I don't think they call that zero rate. I don't think so. That's not a technique I would use for it. Because unless you're really good at manufacturing sneezes, or you're going to carry some cayenne pepper around with you, to, like, put in your nose, you're probably not going to be able to sneeze on command. So you want to find Babaloo, cut it out. You big pest, leave my AirPods alone. You big toad. So you're looking for something that will be more interesting to the bird than biting. Usually food is. And it's terribly, there's no way to use like negative reinforcement or negative punishment with that, or positive punishment. Because it isn't going to have a good effect. So I would go for some kind of reward for not doing it, presented at the time of the sneeze. It might take a few bites before you make that happen, before the bird realizes, wait a minute, I can bite or I can do this. And again, it wants to be a treat that you take out of their diet and you only use it when you're training. Keeping in mind that you're training all the time. Anytime you're anywhere near the bird or the bird can hear you, there's training going on. So both ways. You have your standard training sessions when you take a bird to a perch and you teach them something, but you're teaching them all the time. A good example is with African greys. If you run to the microwave right after it beeps, you're going to teach your African grey to make the sound of the microwave. Because it doesn't take a genius to figure out that you're running for bells.
Is Manda out again?
Looks like it.
Oh, he has left his panic room. Excellent.
He has rejoined society.
And now he's running the birdie highway.
Now he gets up here and he looks and he goes, Cecil's got that ball. I want to go down and get petted, but the thing is, when KK is out, he'll climb down and then climb right back up. He's afraid to sit down here by me, and KK doesn't. Stop that! I'm trying to hold the phone, you dip. Like you care, right? You just want to play. You got caught. That's where the AirPod is, and he went right for it. Stop it.
Over there.
Now I could just move it to my other side, and then of course eventually he'll move over there. But I like playing games with him, so I don't mind really.
Mm-hmm.
He can't.
Never.
If the case is open, he could damage it, or if he can get it where he can pop it open, it's possible he could damage it. But he's not going to damage it while it's closed in my pocket. But he might cut a hole in my clothing. But that's part of the course.
It's never a dull moment with Bob.
That it's a Babaloo.
Please.
Mander, what are you doing? Oh, you're going to act like you're going to come down? I bet you won't. I'll try. Oh, there he is. Hi, Mander. Hey, don't hit Mander. That's all right.
Baby
Mander.
has come over.
Yeah, but he got whacked by Cecil Rath. Bob, no, leave him alone. All right. See, this is what happens. He's not going to defend
Such a
himself.
brave boy. Was whacked by Cecil. No, he goes.
You know better than hitting him.
Bye, Mander.
You're not supposed to hit the Mander. You know it.
Mm.
You can whack me, but don't be whacking on Mander. I know you want to come down. See how gentle
He's
he
a
is with
very
that piece?
sensitive boy.
Mm.
He's looking at me. Don't you have an extra hand? Yeah, I tried to do that, but someone wouldn't let me bring the tripod in. There you go. That's okay. Sit right there. Right there. You back off, Cecil. So I can pet the mander a bit. I know, boy. You like to get petted. That's my face you're hitting. Cecil, I can't see what I'm doing. I talk to them as if they can understand me, and they do understand some things, but what I was doing there was just making noise. You didn't get any of that. Except maybe the tone of voice, which was displeased. Bob, leave it alone. Yes, I'm talking to you. Or I'll put Cecil down there and let him whack you on the head. Don't grab Cecil's tail. Instigator. These two are like, they're like brothers. They constantly, they play together. They fight a little bit. Play fight. Nothing serious, but just like brothers. Right, Bob? Hmm?
Cockatoo. So if Cecil
Right?
and Bob are brothers, and Cecil and Lorelai are Salamander's mom and dad, then does that mean Bob is Mander's uncle?
Maybe so.
Well, that's nice. So he has two aunties and an uncle.
Mm.
How nice for Mander.
The uncle is most of the time far nicer than the aunties.
Bob? That's my vocalization to tell him leave my AirPod case alone. No. It's funny, he'll meander around too. I can't stop petting Mander or he'll leave. That's just the way he is. But all right, Mander. So he'll wander around like he's looking for something else, and then he'll grab for the AirPod case. And then I yell at him. That's the way it goes. And I'm not as loud as he is, so it's not much of a yell. Years ago at the Wild Animal Park in San Diego, when I was living over there and living close to it, I used to go out there and make the sound of a dove to the kookaburras. And if you do that for about 5 minutes, they'll go off. And you can hear them all through the park. They'll all start that laughing sound that they do. So I'd walk down there, and then I used to do a 5-mile trek through there every day. And I'd stop there. It'd be the only spot that actually stopped. And I would start going. After a while, they would just go off, just doing that kookaburra sound. Which, if you don't know what that sounds like, just watch any of the old Johnny Weissmuller movies, because they use the sound of an African bird in the old Tarzan movies. As I said, African and Australian bird. So there aren't any of those unless they're in cages in Africa. But yeah, a number of times I actually stopped when I did that walk. That was one. That's the one stop I always made. The rest of the time I just kept moving. One time I was going up to where they had the condors, and where they were retraining condors. You're not going to mess with him. Just leave him alone, okay? And I hear this voice going, "Don't you ever look where you're going?" And I look over, and here's a trainer with a cheetah, just sitting with a cheetah on a leash on the grass. So she goes, "Yeah, want to see the cheetah?" I walked right by it, but that was great. It's just, don't you ever look where you're going?
You might have stepped on the cheetah's tail.
I was within inches of being able to pet it, but it wasn't allowed. Of course, she could have lost her job by letting me do it. They won't bite. They don't bite unless you're running. You don't want to run. That's another reason she slowed me down, because I was showing the cheetah was showing a little interest in me because I was walking so fast. They attack animals that are moving quickly.
Like Manda.
Like Mander, right? Yeah. See, I stopped petting him. That's all it takes. He's gone.
Yep, Amanda is gone.
Mander.
But
Sorry,
at least
Amanda.
he's out of his panic cage
Yeah, he's doing
and
better.
doing
He's getting.
some workout.
The other time I was walking through there, I'm walking through. They used to have a section. They got a new one now. It's better, but they had an Australian forest, and I'm going through there at my usual pace. And here's some kid throwing rocks at the wallabies, and his dad's there watching him do it. So I stopped and I said, "You need to stop your kid from doing that." And he goes, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do." And I whipped out my cell phone and I called security, and they were escorted off the premises. And as he's being escorted, I go, "Yeah, I'm a member." Because when I called up, I said, "I'm a member, and there's somebody down here with his kids throwing rocks at the animal." That was it. They actually didn't see him doing it, but they escorted him out anyway. Just on my word. Didn't see much of that thing. There was one other time I did that walk, and I went to sit down, and this one woman had her kids chasing they have ducks there that just fly in, right? They're not part of the scenery. They just come in because there's water right near where they have the lemurs. And I'm sitting there eating my lunch, and these kids start chasing them, and I tell the lady, I said, hey, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Come here. Over here. Come on. So leave him alone, Bob. Mander, it's all. No, you don't want to go over there. Mander, you don't want to go over there. You can go up here. There you go.
I know.
So,
What's that?
so I told her she had to stop her kids from chasing the ducks. And she said, "Well, who are you to talk to me?" And I said, "Well, if you don't have your kids stop chasing the ducks, I'm going to start chasing you." And she called her kids over and she left.
Yeah, it's always crazy to me when you get people that take their family to the zoo and then the kids behave worse than the animals.
Yeah. I only saw that twice, though. Most of the time, people were pretty well behaved there. They've got security around too. It's just so usually it doesn't happen, but because there's somebody watching you whether you know it or not. But and that was in an area where I was surprised there wasn't any security. Because usually right around the lemur islands they have there, you want to have security because there's a lot of animals walking free. You want to come down here? You can. Well, come on. Just be calm. There's no reason to panic. You're okay. Andrew, you're all right. You're all right. You don't want to go in there. No, because she's sitting up there. What are you thinking? Big boy? No, I'm not going to put you on that. Bob, leave him alone. That was not nice. No, don't you do your little. No, you're not going over there. You go up here. Now, quit that little sardonic laugh. No, most of the people when I was they call it the safari park now. I think that was a mistake, but when I would go through there, people were good. The people were behaving, and
So there's a question, Don, from Mohammed, who wants to know, do any of your cockatoos have itchy feet? Do they often scratch their fingers due to pimples or anything like that?
no. Once in a while they'll get dry feet, but there's nothing you can do about that. You can't put oils or anything on them. If it was really bad, you could put Silvadine on there, but usually their feet are okay.
Snowball has calluses on his feet though, doesn't he?
He has on his left foot, there's a callus that grows there, and it comes off every once in a while. You massage it and eventually it'll come off and then it'll grow back. It's just a callus. It's been tested. It's not any kind of disease or not a fungus or anything.
Mm.
So Dr. Jenkins did the test on that, but just a callus.
And if that's oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say if they have problems with their feet, is it usually due to the perch that they're standing on?
Yeah, you want to have them sit on a lot of different perches. One of the nice things about a socialization room is there's lots of different kinds of perches. They can stand on cages, they can stand on ropes now, or they can get on these other perches. If they have a hard perch that can stand on, it doesn't have any variation. That can cause some problems like bumblefoot. Dr. Jenkins, his suggestion, and I've found it works pretty well, is putting in right there is the 2x4. That's just a plain 2x4, but you see how it's rounded? Yeah, they did that. There was a bird in there that we used that cage over at our temporary location, and so that was a normal piece of 2x4, and they just round it and conform it to the way their feet like it best. So, and then you need an additional perch. It's nice to have a rope perch in there, one or two other perches of different sizes, so they don't have to hold their feet the same way all the time. Romeo likes his he prefers his rope perch. He has a 2x4 in there too. It's 4 foot long. They used to make rope perches that are 4 foot long. I can't find them anymore. So I could make one out of this kind of thing, but unless I'm going to stick a wire through it the way they do, it's just going to sag in the cage if it goes 4 feet. But he's not spending much time on that wooden perch, so I might just take some of this kind of rope, manila rope, and I have a tongue in there somewhere, and put that across. It's going to sag a bit, but he seems to prefer being on rope. And the nice thing about manila rope is it is variations in size. 1.5-inch rope has indentations on it, so their feet are not stuck in the same spot all the time. Yeah, they shouldn't have itchy feet. I would check in to making sure that you have multiple size perches and different kinds of perches they can sit on. Unless you have someone like this one, who just refuses to do anything but sit on one type of, at least she shapes it to her feet. But yeah, I'm talking about you big cutie pie. Yeah. This one has doesn't like to move around too much, but she plays and stuff. She gets down and plays on the bottom of the cage. But
I read to Mohammed that he might want to consult an avian vet about it, just to make sure it's nothing which needs the vet. And Spirit asked if that could be the presence of mice. The thing is, I have no idea. So I read about, I just know that about budgies, that when they start to bite their feet or feathers, that it can be the presence of mites. But the thing is, doing such diagnosis from afar is not possible. So it's just best to consult a vet about it and check if anything medical is needed for the bird. So if it's healthy, if it's something to something else. I think sometimes if some organs have difficulties, that can also result in that the bird feels itchy in some parts of the body, like the feet and bites. So just to make sure that this is not the case. And then there are all the other tips Don gave with the perches, and yeah, which is important that they get different materials for their feet to stand off. It is not necessary that all this kind of, is super round and smooth, because just consider on what they usually, which their feet are made for, sitting in nature. So just give them a lot of choice to make, and then they do the right choice themselves to sit on the right perch.
Yeah, and if it's just a matter of dry and dusty, then you can just bathe them with water, and that should help that.
Actually, the cockatoo dust is protecting their skin and their feathers. It's not like something which is like that their feet need to be oily or something like that. Actually, if you put something on their feet or something oilier, so other than water, it actually can harm them pretty much, because they only have a really thin skin, and if something gets through the skin into their blood circle from this is certainly not wanted. So yeah.
One of our early videos with Dr. Jenkins goes through different diseases that our birds could get, and one of them is, it's rare these days, but there is a type of fungus that attacks birds' feet, and it's usually only when they've been exposed to a bird from the wild, such as a bird from the jungle, right? So it is a good idea to have that checked. But if you watch that video, it's the one, I don't remember which one it is, 13 or maybe it's 13. But it talks about the different potential diseases, and that one is mentioned, where you have a disease that will make your feet itchy. So. And it's communicable too, so it's possible. It's not likely these days, but it is possible. That could be the problem. Well, folks, it's that time again. I'm gonna have to sit with these birds by myself, unwatched. Bob, that means I'm gonna be paying more attention to you trying to eat my pocket. Yeah, it does. That's what it means. You big silly. Thanks, Amy and Eleanor, for your help. And do you have any last words to say there, Cecil?
Well, thanks for the stream, Don.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Peppa, you got a sneeze for everybody? Nope. Well, you're gonna sneeze if you start getting the dust in your ears, bird. Yeah.
Well, Pepper, I'll say bless you, even though you're not sneezing right now, because we love the pep.
Good girl. Okay, folks, we'll see you next time.